Hello and welcome to the Dugout Podcast. This is our first episode and we'll be talking about the Euros and previewing it. Today, I am joined by Adam. Adam, what do you study?
I study sports broadcasting and business at UCFB Wembley.
I'm also joined by Sam. Sam, what do you study?
I take football business and media, and I'm also at UCFB Wembley.
Charlie, I'm also joined by Charlie. Charlie, what do you study?
I study football, business and marketing at UCFB Wembley too.
And I myself are Jack. I also study at UCFB Wembley and I study business and finance. Thank you for joining us today.
Let's get straight into it. The first prediction we're going to be doing is who we think will win the overall competition at Euro 2021. So I reckon France will win. Sam, who do you reckon will win?
I reckon Portugal.
Portugal. And who do you reckon, Jack?
I also think France will win. I back you there with your shout there, Adam.
And then the same question to you, Charlie. Who do you reckon will win the Euros?
I think Belgium will win.
Starting with you, Sam, what makes you think Portugal will win the tournament this summer?
Well, I think they've got a great young squad with loads of players currently in form, like Bruno Fernandes, Ruben Diaz, Bernardo, I think will come into form, Diego Jota. They won the last Euros, and they also won the last trophy they could have won, which is the Nations League. So they know how to win the big games. And I just feel like Ronaldo will be trying to prove himself because it could be his last major tournament for Portugal. I think the great attacking options they've got around him, he's going to get loads of chances. They're going to score loads of goals, and I just reckon they're going to go all the way this year.
Yeah, that's a good opinion, especially with the fact they've got big game players like Ronaldo, like you say, who can turn up in the big tournaments and take them away. And then Jack, like me, you reckon France. So why do you reckon France?
I mean, they reached the final of Euro 2016. I think they were very unlucky to lose that final. They lost to a very, very lucky goal from Adair late in injury time. They were definitely the better team throughout. And they've also just gained a lot of good players since then. So kind of the likes of Kante have become more used to playing. They've lost the likes of Payet, but they've brought through better players, the likes of Mbappe, for example. They also then won the 2018 World Cup. They were by far the best team in our tournament. It wasn't really even close. And again, this year, I think there's not really any other international team that come remotely close to France. Their ability, they've got quality all over the pitch. No matter where you look, from centre mid at Pogba, CDM, Kante, centre back Varane, goalkeepers. They got the likes of Mignon and Lloris up top. You've got the likes of Benzema, even the likes of Giroud. Their top scorer is going to be sat on the bench. They've got quality and depth, really.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. Being able to add Benzema in after so many years and the season he's just had at Real Madrid, he's carried them in a way. So with his goals, with players like Griezmann and Mbappe next to him, like he's just surely going to score a load of goals. And as you said, with Kante next to Pogba turns into a different player completely different to what you see from Manchester United every week. So I think that will help France like it did back in the World Cup. So, and then back to you, Charlie. So you reckon Belgium will win. So why do you reckon that?
I think Belgium will win because, like the others have said as well, they've got a young, strong squad with them, with the likes of Romelu Lukaku running things up top, with 24 goals for Inter this year for this season. I think he's gonna get a lot of service in from the wingers, from the midfield, likes of Tielemans, bringing it up from the midfield. I think he's just going to bag a load of goals and get them what they need to get through to the finals.
Yeah, that's a great shout. When you've got someone like Kevin De Bruyne on the pitch and a finisher like Lukaku, then it's perfect, really, because he'll just get so many chances all the time. And on to the next one, we've got top goal scorer. So for top goal scorer, I've gone for Antoine Griezmann of France. Who have you gone for, Sam?
I've gone for, sticking with Portugal, I've gone for Ronaldo.
And what about you, Jack?
I've gone with Harry Kane.
Okay. And then lastly, you, Charlie?
Sticking with Belgium as well, I'm going for Romelu Lukaku.
Yeah, makes sense. So I've gone for Griezmann because he usually takes penalties for France. He may have missed the last couple he's had, but back in the 2016 Euros, he won Golden Boot and was consistent. He scored a couple of penalties and he turned up for some of the bigger games. He got 2 against Germany, I believe, and he helped turn around the game against the Republic of Ireland. So he is a big game player. He's been okay this season for Barcelona. He's trying to find his form, but when he plays in that number 10 role for France, in behind a Giroud or Benzema, again, he just plays completely different. Like Didier Deschamps just clearly knows how to get the best out of him, really. So that's why I reckon him. So Sam, why do you reckon Cristiano Ronaldo?
Well, as I've gone for Portugal to win, I just think Ronaldo's going to be their main man again this summer. I think with all the great attacking players they've got around him, such as Bruno, João Felix, Jota, Bernardo Silva, all being like playmakers and giving him the chances, I think he's gonna bag them and get loads of goals. He's also going to be on penalties again, even though Bruno's there, he'll be on them. He's going to be taking all the free kicks, and he's just a big game player. I think he's going to go. It could be his, like I said, it could be his last Euros. I think he'll want to go out with a bang. I reckon he's going to want to prove all the doubters wrong and try and go out there and get top goal scorer.
Yeah, that's true. And then Charlie, why Lukaku?
Lukaku, as I said before, 24 goals in Serie A with Inter. Class season. He's going to be well informed. He's going to be well up for the Euros. I just think he's going to be able to bag the goals and just take Belgium where they need to go.
Fair enough. And then for you, Jack, Harry Kane?
For me, it's not really a hard decision. I've gone with Harry Kane. He netted 23 goals in the Premier League this season. He's won the Golden Boot in the World Cup in 2018, and that was kind of for an England team that only made it to the semis. I think realistically that tournament was a bit overblown on how good England actually were, and he still managed to win the Golden Boot at that tournament. I think he's probably one of, if not the best striker in world football right now. I don't think anyone really come close. I put him above Lewandowski just because kind of Lewandowski's more in the Bundesliga, and I don't rate the Bundesliga as highly as the Premier League. Same goes with Haaland, but I do think those are the top three. But I do think Kane's in a league of his own. If he can win the Golden Boot at the World Cup with a kind of an England team who I think who didn't go as far as I think England might this year, been on penalties, netting 23 goals, winning the Golden Boot, winning the most assists in the Premier League as well this year. I just think kind of everything points towards Harry Kane being the top scorer in the World Cup this year, in the Euro, this year.
Do you think it'll be harder from this season, or at the tournament, considering 75% of our goals last international tournament was scored through set pieces, and by taking out our best set piecer in Ward-Prowse and also Trent being injured, do you think the quality of delivery might not be as good as what it was before? I know we still have Kieran Trippier, and players like Jack Grealish, Mason Mount are more than capable of crossing the ball, but taking out arguably the best set piece taker in at least England, if not potentially even Europe, some could debate, could that lead to Harry Kane maybe struggling to get some chances or struggling to score goals?
Not at all, because neither of Trent or Ward-Prowse were on free kicks at 2018. We were scoring plenty of free kicks and corners with Trippier on them before. We've not changed the taker. I don't see why there'd be an issue with the amount of goals we score from set pieces. If Trent or Ward-Prowse were taking them in 2018 and they're no longer, that might be an issue. But bear in mind, we've got the same set piece taker. I don't think we can say that the quality of set pieces is going to decrease particularly rapidly, if that makes sense.
Sorry, so you think Trippier is actually going to start?
He might not start, but then even then, I think we've got the likes of Grealish, we've got the likes of Mount. I think we've got more than good enough set piece takers in the squad. I mean, I personally wouldn't be against Trippier starting. Any of those three right backs, I'd happily start. I wouldn't really have an issue. Trippier's had an amazing season with Atletico Madrid. I think just because he wasn't playing in England, people didn't kind of appreciate how good he was. He still got 7 assists in La Liga last season for a title-winning squad. For most other countries, that'd be more than enough to start. But I mean, I don't really mind who starts out of Walker, James, and Trippier. If Trippier needs to be on free kicks, I'd happily bring him on. I think he'd be a great player to bring on in the 70th minute to put on a couple of free kicks, to be honest with you. And obviously he's been there and done it against Croatia. But I don't fear any kind of issues with our set pieces. I mean, to be honest, Kane wasn't the one scoring most of the set pieces. It tended to be more kind of Maguire from corners. Obviously scored the penalties, but those don't really count. We'll be getting penalties whether Trent or not is on the pitch, for example. But no, I don't fear that his kind of the ability for him to get goals is going to be any less. I actually think it's going to be more. The quality of players around him at this tournament are going to be better than they were in 2018. He's had an amazing season with Spurs, and Spurs' team is very, very bang average around him, apart from Son. So put him in a better team with just as good, if not better, set piece takers. I don't think there's many arguments to say that Kane won't be top goal scorer personally.
Yeah, that's a great shout. Considering there's players like Jadon Sancho, Rashford, Grealish, Mount, Foden, all these great players, so he'll surely get chances pulling him left, right, and centre. So that's a great shout.
Exactly.
And then we've put a breakthrough player, so someone that we think might already be known in Europe, but not on maybe an international level or worldwide level. So who has everyone put as a breakthrough player? Starting with you, Charlie.
I've picked Yuri Tielemans.
That's a great shout. Sam?
I have picked Dani Olmo from Spain.
Okay, and then you, Jack?
I've gone with Alexander Isaac from Real Sociedad.
Great shout. I've gone for Daniel Marlin of PSV. He scored 27 goals this season in all competitions. And I just think if he starts consistently for Netherlands with players like Wijnaldum, De Jong, Memphis Depay, Quincy Promes, I think he'll get chances. And I think it'll be a sort of chance for him to... Because if you know football or watch Eredivisie, I don't know if many people do, probably not, you'll see him a lot more now. People will be able to see, and it wouldn't surprise me if he had a good tournament that a team in the Premier League, potentially someone like a Tottenham looking for a Harry Kane replacement, if he does go in the summer as players to buy, it wouldn't shock me if he was in England for next season. So why do you reckon Yuri Tielemans, Charlie?
I chose Tielemans because the way he's played this season in the midfield for Leicester, he's just got the ball upfield, box to box, gets the ball up towards the strikers. He plays really well. He played really well in the FA Cup final against Chelsea. Obviously scored the winning goal. Absolute banger of a goal as well, may I add. So I just think he's an all-round player. And I think when he gets into the international setting, I think he's going to want to push himself and play at his best, especially when he's got the likes of Lukaku and De Bruyne in front of him as well.
What do you class as breakout? I mean, he's already captained Monaco in the Champions League. I think he was the world's youngest player to captain a team in the Champions League. What more can he get on to do? Because I mean, Leicester are a top 6 Premier League club now. I think there's no doubt about it. What step can he do to become this breakout player? I think a lot of people already rate him, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I completely I agree with you there. I'm just thinking, I don't think he's performed as well as he has done at club level, at international level. I reckon he can do a little bit more, and I reckon this is his tournament as he's been playing so well this season.
As well as that, he's not played much Champions League football for Leicester. I know he's played probably Europa League last couple of seasons, but if he comes out, as you say, for Belgium and they go on to win the tournament and he's runs out midfield, gets a couple of goals, few assists, that's a chance for him to showcase his talent, I think. So obviously across Europe and across the world watching.
Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah, he hasn't broke out quite on the international level as some of the other players have, I suppose. Like a Kylian Mbappe has broken out since that World Cup. And then for you, Sam?
Yeah, I've gone for the young 23-year-old Spanish talent, Dani Olmo. He's a attacking midfielder, currently playing at RB Leipzig. He's had another great year for them, getting another 15 goal contributions and just in the Bundesliga alone. He's quite well known now in the Bundesliga because he's known as one of the better attacking midfielders, but he's not a household name yet. I reckon this could be the Euros like James was in the World Cup back in 2014 to break him through, and maybe go on even to a stepping stone to a bigger club like a Madrid, or even just a move to the Premier League, because I think he's one of Spain's best players.
Yeah, that's a great shout, especially some of the midfielders that Spain have in that team with the likes of Busquets, Koke, Thiago. With Dani Olmo in front of them, he could create a lot of chances and get in the edge of the box and get some goals, I reckon. To you, Jack, why do you reckon Isaac will be the breakthrough player?
I think Isaac will be the breakthrough player for 2 main reasons. Firstly, it's because Zlatan is out injured. He won't be going to the tournament in Sweden, which leaves big boots to fill. And I think there'll be a lot of attention on him just from kind of not only the Swedish media, but kind of the world's media, because Zlatan is probably undeniably one of the most recognisable footballers in the world. When he's not going to be going there anymore to the Euros, I think a lot of people are going to kind of stand up and pay attention. So he's probably filling the boots of one of the best players in the world. Maybe not one of the best, one of the most notable players in the world. Kind of a lot of people are aware who Zlatan is. And secondly, because he's only 21, he's just netted 17 goals in La Liga for Real Sociedad, got 2 assists. He's overperformed XG, not majorly, but he has overperformed XG, which kind of suggests that he's kind of a bit of a lethal finisher. He's playing in a team that have only finished 5th in La Liga, so they're nowhere near the best team. 21 17 goals in the league and 19 goal contributions in all competitions. Last season, he was on loan at Willem Tilburg. He got 14 goals in 19 games in the Eredivisie for a team that, again, weren't near the top. They kind of finished. They did qualify for the Europa League, Willem, but by no means were they one of the best teams in the world. In the league, sorry. He's just got goal scoring pedigree. Like, you can't really look past 19 goals and assists in the Liga, filling the boots with Zlatan. I can't see a way that he doesn't kind of break out. I understand Sweden probably won't go that far, but they're not in the hardest group. Kind of the toughest opponents they've probably got are Spain, and I mean, I still don't think Spain are the team they once used to be. Even just 1 or 2 goals will kind of propel his name more into the spotlight. Although I am aware Arsenal have been tracking him, so kind of I'm glad he's finally getting the attention that people that he deserves from people, really, because I think he's going to be kind of not on Haaland's level, but he's going to be kind of that one step below. And I really think this tournament should propel him to that level, because he's had unreal stats for the last couple of years.
Yeah, thank you for that, Jack. And then for play of the tournament, what have you gone for, Sam?
I've gone for Ronaldo again.
Okay, and then you, Charlie?
I've gone for Kevin De Bruyne.
And then for you, Jack?
I've gone with Paul Pogba.
I also have stuck with a French player. I've gone for Kylian Mbappe. I just think Kylian Mbappe, if he's arguably one of the best players in the world, if not the best. He just offers so much. He got 42 goals in all competitions this season and 11 assists. He's proven it at the biggest stage with getting a hat-trick at the Nou Camp. You don't get much better than that in European football. He's done it in the Champions League for the last couple of seasons now. He does it week in, week out in the French League, which obviously isn't the toughest league in the world, but you've still got to score goals, and he does that for fun. I just think him off the left wing, predominantly for France, even if he doesn't get all the goals, he'll be involved in virtually all of them, whether it be winning penalties for Griezmann to score or putting on the plate for Benzema or Dembele arriving from the other side to score. So I think he'll definitely be a massive part of France if they do go on to win the tournament. So why do you reckon Cristiano Ronaldo, Sam?
Like I said, for him winning the top goal scorer, I just think with myself back in Portugal to win it, I think if they do win it and he gets the top goal scorer, I just don't think anyone can say that he won't be player of the tournament, because that's what normally happens if they win it and then the team wins it and he gets top goal scorer. But I have put down Grealish as like an honourable mention, because I feel like if England do go far, Grealish is going to be our standout player. Like watching the recent games, every time he puts on an England shirt, he looks miles above the rest. And then like winning the penalty against in the last game, the last friendly, I can't remember who he played.
It's against Romania.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, he won the penalty against that. He just looks so good with his dribble in. I feel he's going to get loads of assists for Kane. They're both playing, so I just hope he starts. But like, if England do well, I think he'll be our standout and get player of the tournament. But if not, and I think Portugal win it, I think it will be Ronaldo.
Yeah, I think it's also a great chance for Grealish to sort of break onto the European scene a little bit, because obviously he's not played any European football with Villa any time recently. So it's a good chance for him to, again, be a similar sort of breakthrough player. Everyone knows of his talents, but I think if he did it in a European or world stage, it would showcase him a lot more. And then for you, Charlie?
So I picked Kevin De Bruyne. Firstly, he's arguably one of the best midfielders in the world. His playmaking skills, finishing, assisting constantly at City. I just think if he carries on doing that for Belgium like he has been doing, he's got to be up there with the best players in the tournament. Like if he carries on getting the same numbers that he's got for City in past years, he's got to be there. Especially if Belgium do go and win it, like Sam said about Portugal. If they do win it, I just think he's got it in the bag.
Yeah, that's a great shout. And then you, Jack?
I've gone with Paul Pogba. Not because I kind of had anything this season to go off of, but by the fact that whenever he pulls on a France shirt, he's a completely different player to the one he is in a United shirt. You feel like Kante kind of gives him that freedom that kind of he doesn't have at United for some reason. Whilst kind of there's more obvious attacking options, and he probably won't chip in with the goals and assists. Kind of the way he drives the ball up the pitch, kind of the easy free-flowing football he allows France to play. I feel like he's going to be that kind of player that catches the eye and probably does score a worldie throughout the tournament, and it'll just kind of help propel France to that next level. And I think he'll probably get more of the plaudits than Mbappe, for example, just because out of kind of he's nice to watch on the eye, if that makes sense. Whenever he plays for France, he just seems to be a cut above anything he does for United. I had a look at the FootMob ratings, and in both the 2016 Euros and the 2018 World Cup, he registered 7.43 on average rating, which is one of the best. Like, it's pretty hard to get much better rating than that. Even the likes of players that get a goal and a man of the match are on 7.8, 7.9. So like a 10's unheard of. So like he has high ratings when in a France shirt. Something about it, Deschamps manages to get the complete best out of him. And bear in mind, I see France winning the overall tournament. I just think he'll just be kind of silky smooth driving the ball up the pitch, probably score a couple of worldies, and I just think he'll probably get player of the tournament through that.
Yeah, you said it perfectly. Deschamps get the best out of him. I think he just knows Kante, just as you say, makes him the best midfielder probably in the tournament on his day, for sure. And then finally, it's the teams, you're underperformer. So which team do you reckon is just going to flop completely or just not achieve what they should? I've gone for England, unfortunately. I wish I could say we'd win it, but I just don't think it's going to happen. Who have you gone for, Jack?
I've gone with Germany.
Germany. You, Charlie?
I've gone for Germany as well.
And then you, Sam?
I've gone for Netherlands.
Netherlands. So we'll start with you, Charlie. Why do you reckon Germany won't achieve?
Germany are just not what they used to be. They haven't got. They've got a good starting 11, but the depth is just not there. It's not there for the world class players anymore. I think as well, Neuer as the goalkeeper is past his time. I don't think he's as good as he used to be, especially in international. You need to be the best you can be. Just don't think he is. And I just don't think the whole team is what used to be. I just don't think they're good enough anymore.
Anything you'd like to add on that, Jack?
No, I mean, not too much. The only thing I'd say is, yeah, they're kind of their main starting 11 is starting to age. I do fear the fact that they'll kind of be relying on Werner up top. I think we all know that he's not kind of got that lethal finisher in him that you might need at a big game. Kind of, I think we saw that in the Champions League final. He wasn't all there. Like his runs in behind and kind of his movement is probably I'd probably go as far as saying his movement is probably the best player in the world by far, but his finishing is just not there at all. And when you're in those big kind of moments and stuff, I just don't see him being able to create anything and kind of finish his goals. Also, to go with that, he is in the group of death. I think kind of Portugal and France are going to progress from that group, and the way that the third team goes through in each group is kind of done on points. And I don't see them picking up points against either of those teams. They might get a win against Hungary, but I can see 4 other teams in third position getting more points, having a better goal difference than them, just out of who they're playing in their group. So I can easily see them exiting in the group stage, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's a great point. Their group is just, I can't see them winning maybe more than one game, especially probably all teams will get the points against Hungary, but with other groups, a team will probably get 4 points, which will be enough to take them through as third place. I just don't think 3 points will be enough to go through. But I've gone for England's one of the performers, as I said. I just think we've got a lot of good footballers in the team, a lot of attacking players. Our defence probably lets us down a little bit, especially if Maguire isn't potentially going to be fit for the first game, which is probably our most important game, with probably the toughest team definitely in our group. Maguire would be a big loss for us. Like, he's been outstanding for Manchester United the past couple of seasons. Has probably gone through a little bit, like everyone sort of gives him a bit of stick, but he does his job, and you see it when he's not been in the team in the last couple of weeks for Manchester United. Just look at the final game against Liverpool. That, like, man, he just looks shocking without him defensively. So with him at the back, and then Mings not much better, and Pickford, we've not got the greatest defenders there. And I just think the press, again, like most years, will just put too much pressure on a lot of these young footballers. Like, first tournament for the likes of Jude Bellingham, Grealish, and I believe Foden's first tournament. So it's hard for them to sort of step up. I mean, you've already got Foden and Grealish being compared to players like Paul Gascoigne, who've been one of England's best players the last 20-odd years. It's a bit harsh and a bit unfair to compare other players to these players before even basically putting on the shirt ring and actually giving them to anyone to sort of judge them on. So I just think they'll... And if we do win the group, we do play second place in the group of death. So more than likely a Portugal or France, you'd say. And I just think either of them on their day with the better, more top-level players who've done it at that stage before, would just knock us out, I think, early on. So unfortunately, I just reckon we'll flop a little bit. And then for you, Sam, why the Netherlands?
I've got several reasons for the Netherlands, but like perhaps the most important one is the huge loss that is Virgil van Dijk. Their defence just looks nowhere near the same without arguably the best centre back in the world football on his day. They've conceded like 11 in the last 11 games. You can see how defensively shaky they are because that's against teams that are nowhere near the top teams in Europe. They've got the coach Frank de Boer, who is their new head coach from 2020, and a lot of the Netherlands fans are not happy with him. He hasn't got the best record. He came in from Atlanta United in the USA, so he's going from managing an MLS team to managing the Netherlands in the Euro 2020, which seems like a huge step up for him. And if they do go through their group in first, which could be tough considering they got Austria, Ukraine, and North Macedonia, who I think all three of them give them tough games. They're going to play third in either Group D, E, or F, which could be teams like Germany, like Sweden, or even someone like Scotland, which I think will all give them tough games on their day. I just think they go out in the groups or go out easily in the round of 16, and they'll I just don't think they're going to do well at all.
Yeah, that Van Dijk loss is massive, as you say.
Yeah.
Their defence without him doesn't look the same, but no team would be the same without a player of that calibre. I think it's going to be very interesting somewhere ahead, especially with fans being allowed back. I think England might get a little bit of a boost from that, you'd hope. So hopefully they can prove me wrong. Hopefully this year it does actually come on for a change, but who knows? Thank you for watching the Dugout Podcast.
Yeah. Thank you. Cheers, guys.
Thank you.